Hi there. On behalf of PerfectGame.tv, my name is Darren Sutton. Emily Waldon is the national prospect writer for The Athletic, and in a year in which so many PG alum headed off to the minor leagues only to see their season come to an end, coverage was so important and yet unique. Emily, at one point, put athletes in touch with jobs when they lost their minor league paycheck. She checked in on how they stayed fresh to get the call in 20 or 2021. Here's my recent conversation with the fine writer for The Athletic. Emily, when this minor league season shut down, you kind of took it upon yourself to open up your level of communication even more. You already do a great job with minor leaguers and to try and put them in touch with places of employment, understanding that the money would dry up very soon. You don't have to give me 100 stories or even 5, but how rewarding was it? And maybe an example or two of where you were able to take an athlete and plug them into getting a check every 2 weeks when the season shut down.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the most incredible parts of this year. Obviously, we know this year has been so challenging for so many people. And this project that I sort of just ran with, it sort of came off the cuff and wanted to see where it would go, landed, I want to say, about 50 to 60 players with employment. One of which actually called and he said, my wife hasn't stopped crying since she heard that we got this because they had just purchased a house. They had a down payment due. And so it was just like a perfect timing for that. And just being able to bring any type of a silver lining to these guys' lives, I think was the most rewarding part overall.
In your communication with these minor leaguers, who some of them yesterday were playing in travel ball and high school events, in your communication with them, how unique did you find the workouts? Guys getting live at bats, guys getting work. I mean, how unique was it? I mean, obviously there were guys on the taxi squads and that were at the mini camps. Exclude those guys. All the other guys who had to be creative, it had to be fun to hear how creative guys were being to getting bullpens and live at bats in.
Absolutely. We had guys doing beer league softball. We had people
Wow.
doing pay to play leagues. We had people trying to find ways to get access to different gyms because, as we all know, a lot of those workout facilities shut down once COVID really started to spike. So a lot of them were in their old neighborhood baseball fields just looking for somebody to play catch with. There was definitely some entertaining stories. Unfortunately, not many I can share just due to confidentiality of the players and the way that they work things out. But yeah, it was really cool to see the level of dedication that they had to say, you know what, regardless of what happens, I've still got to stay sharp. I still have to find ways to improve. And a lot of these guys did a really good job with that.
Yeah, you can see everybody communicating on social media, which is where it's a good thing. I'm going to put you to work on 4 guys that prospect fans are familiar with. Most of the people watching this saw them in high school or college. So I think they'd be curious to know how they're doing with Tigers. And that's a big area of your focus as well, outside of the national coverage for The Athletic. The first one's the obvious one, and it was the guy who went 1-1 and Spencer Torkelson. Just kind of your latest perspective on him.
Definitely an unorthodox start to his professional career. He's handled it with grace. The coach has said he's done so well. He's been able to sort of just slide in there, get used to the flow of everything. It's been a little bit of a crash course because it's not the way that's normally goes for these guys. But just with his resume that came out of college, it's come as advertised. All the instructors, all the coaches have been thoroughly impressed. And I think he's just hungry to see some real in-game action.
Yeah, he may not be far away from seeing it as advanced as he was as a college player. Riley Greene was a PG All-American. It seemed like yesterday. It was in 2018. Yet he seems to be quickly moving up the ranks of respect with the Tigers. Give us an update, please, on Riley.
Absolutely. He actually gained some social media attention from Mike Trout, of all people, with a catch that he made while he was in summer camp, if you will, just showing off his athletic abilities defensively. Such an incredible talent. He really is.
I can remember in 2014 interviewing Daz Cameron with his dad at Jupiter, dad playing in the World Wood Bat Association World Championship. We know he's finally cracked it. He's made it. But I'd love behind the scenes, kind of your perspective on Daz.
Daz is a really special kid. One of the things that I respected the most about him is in 2019, which was probably his toughest year overall, just really working to adjust to the level he was at, made a quick jump to AAA, really struggled at the plate. Defensively, he's always been really solid, never really had any challenges defensively. However, at the plate, a lot of swing and miss, which was uncharacteristic for him. And I spoke to him about it after one of his AAA games, and he goes, you know, he said, I'm seeing this chatter on social media, but he said, if I can't hit, I don't deserve to be there. I need to earn a spot. He understands how challenging it is.
My last question may be the toughest one for you, Emily. What do you see as the silver lining or the positive of what occurred to the minor leagues this year? Find me a silver lining if you're able to.
I think what we are able to take away from this year is what an impact this industry has on the game of baseball. I think the fact that you have this preview of sorts for affiliated fans to come to see the Fernando Tatis Jr.'s, the Joe Adells, the Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s, all these guys that are going to be playing for their favorite team, further down the road once they reach the majors. When you pull that affiliation away, it changes the entire landscape. And I think it really takes away that magic from what these fans experience. And so really to take that away this year, I think was just such a blow to so many communities around the country. They didn't get the chance to be in those environments and to see these guys close up. And it's an aspect of professional baseball that I think was sorely missed this season.
Thank you, Emily.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Okay, so we know this. The evolution of the minor leagues and player development has changed forever. But the one thing that hasn't changed is the writing and the passion of Emily Waldon. We'll have her checking in regularly. On behalf of PerfectGame.tv, I'm Darren Sutton.